Hello, and welcome to another edition of Indie Thinking. Today, here on Indie Agency News, we are going to be talking with Minneapolis, Minnesota agency Solve regarding their project pipeline. I will let them explain that as soon as I bring them on. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Abigail Matthews from Solve and Andrew Pautz from Solve. Thank you both for being here. And Tremenda, how are things? You said it was cold in Minneapolis right now.
Yeah, we're just getting over a potential storm bout from last night. They said it was going to be, tornadic activity, everything. And then last second, winds moved northeast, just missed the city, the metro. I think everyone stayed safe, which is good. That's the most important thing. But yeah, just another day of Minnesota crazy weather up north here.
Of course, it's always like that in the land of 10,000 lakes, which are really more like 80,000 lakes. So
yeah, there's actually like 11 something, I believe. The 10 just sounds a little more pithy.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, well, let's talk a little bit about Project Pipeline. It's something you put into place, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah. I guess just to throw a little background to kind of lay the foundation for everyone tuning in. 5 years ago, we're coming up on 5 years since the murder of George Floyd, which happened just a couple of miles from our office here in Minneapolis. And obviously affected everyone greatly, affected us very heavily to the point of action, and along with the entire industry, we all collectively said we have to do a better job of making our industry more diverse. It just isn't. It's been a persistent problem for years, for decades. And everyone, has committed to hiring more diverse talent. I think one thing we saw, though, was it's not enough to just say we want to bring more diverse voices into this industry because there aren't enough diverse candidates to begin with. So we really wanted to dig deeper and say, what can we do to stretch outside of our own walls, beyond the halls of Solve, and get to the bottom of this and fuel a better, more effective talent pipeline of diverse talent to bring more candidates into our industry. And so that is really where Project Pipeline started. And we said, where can we go to find, a higher concentration of diverse candidates? And that's where we thought, well, we have HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities. And we literally cold called almost every single one. There's 107 across the country. And we heard back from no HBCUs except for one in Morgan State out in Baltimore. The ambitious faculty there replied to our request, which was basically to say, we realize you don't have a formal advertising program there at your university, which is the case with most of the HBCUs in the country that we found. And we said, how can we remedy that? What can we do to bring advertising more effectively on the radar of students as they're at that critical point of deciding a career path, right? And so our offer was pretty simple. We want to create a top line curriculum, baseline advertising topics, things all the way from what is advertising down to talking about specific departments, talking about positioning, talking about how creativity works, how the daily life of an agency functions, all those types of things, and said, we want to teach it to your students. And so Morgan State raised their hand and said, we'd love to partner with you on this. And it's been 10 semesters now. We're in the middle of our 10th semester, just wrapping up our 10th semester actually this week. And so, yeah, it goes way back 5 years, and it's been a phenomenal partnership thus far, inspiring more than 100 students to date, and hopefully getting on the radar as a prospective career path in advertising.
Amazing. How did just, of all these that you contacted, only one? I'm surprised because you would think that they'd want to get their people more active in advertising, but why Morgan State, and what made them, when you talked to them, what made them to kind of say, hey, us?
Yeah, great question. And as our new biz guy, I think, we all know about the prospect of cold calling. I think whatever you're cold calling, it can be tough sometimes, right? People are like, I don't know who you are, you're reaching out. But I think, they realized, the faculty, when they got our initial note back in the summer of 2020, hey, we have a chance to do something that can really create some positive change within our industry, something that is not happening right now. And I think, like us, realized, advertising isn't on the radar right now. We need to get it on the radar. And these people at Solve realize that and want to be a part of that change. And so they said, let's do it. And we didn't know exactly what we were doing to start, right? We've been building this as we went along. We had an initial list of topics, which have certainly ebbed and flowed throughout the semesters. We realized we're not talking about social. These are college kids. Social is a huge part of what we do in our business these days. And we're like, we have to add that. So we've added topics, things like that. And, we've added more layers. We've brought interns on now. Abby, who we'll talk to in just a minute here, was one of our first ever interns, but we realized some of these students are getting really excited. We want to move them to the next level if they're liking this whole advertising thing. So we created an internship program a few summers back and have been bringing on Morgan State students that apply for it ever since.
Excellent. Before we get to Abby, let's talk logistics. How did you, okay, here's almost 1,000 miles away from where you are in Baltimore, and you're a Minneapolis agency. How did you say, okay, we want to take this on, and you're nowhere near us? So what was the thought in that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it started out doing exactly what the three of us are doing right now. We're sitting on, a Zoom type of call, a video call, and trying to express our passion via that video chat. And so the other complicating layer, of course, was it was knee deep in COVID at the moment, right? So that we couldn't go out there even if we had wanted to at the time. And I think we were just banking on let's make our curriculum very short and to the point, easy to digest, visual, and then just let our natural passion for advertising. We're a bunch of we have a lot of different employees here at the agency, but the one thing that kind of brings us all together is our flames are burning, super bright for advertising. We love what we do, and so I think we were banking on they're going to feel that energy even from the Zoom. And then when the moment came when we could all get back out, we said, we got to find a way to get there in person. That's where we added things like our career day, which Abby was just out there a couple of weeks ago for. And we tried to send new employees out there every single semester to help inspire students.
That's great. So let's take a real quick picture. Here's a Zoom call for it's so is it kind of like that? It's like, all right, everybody gets to know each other here, and then you make the in-person connection.
It is exactly, and nothing is more fulfilling than bringing that connection full circle. We've been interacting at this point with the students throughout the semester, worked on a couple of assignments with them thus far, and then really to kind of close the loop, be there in the room, offering up career advice, answering questions, just helping inspire a potential career path that wasn't on the radar necessarily for the students beforehand. So it's great. Even get to eat some phenomenal Maryland food while we're out there, some crab cakes and whatnot.
You have to do that. Some blue crab, maybe some soft shell. Oh yeah, heck yeah.
Yes.
Love it. All right, so Abby, all right, you were a Solve student in fall of 21, summer intern in 2022, and then you're now an account manager at Solve?
Yes, I am. I have officially reached my 1-year mark, actually, as of April 1st. No, thank you so much. And no joke intended, but it did happen on April Fool's, but that was my first day here at Solve at the time. So after a year just of being here, I can honestly say I still love my job. The hype is still so real, just based upon everything that I learned in the curriculum course. And I believe I was the 3rd or 4th cohort out of the summers that we've done so far. And just also the next cohort after me coming in and me actually being an employee at Solve and just being able to walk through it with them and just be a point of contact or a point of reference or a point of comfort, I guess, for them as they trek through the internship. I think it's just very, very humbling and honoring.
Oh, that's amazing. So what was it about the program that made you say, okay, this is for me, I want to get into this?
Oh my goodness. So I'm a creative at heart. And I think that in general, when Solve came to Morgan State and it was a part of our curriculum, they just exposed me to a world and a career path in which I didn't really have to suppress any part of myself in order to have a job, make a living. And I don't find that in a lot of career professions. You don't find that if you go in more analytical or the thinking route, that you won't need to have some of those soft and hard skills. in order to operate and function like perfectly in there. But in advertising, I felt like there was room to fail a bit. And I realized that so many people at Solve, especially, were coming from various different prestigious agencies. And they came here because they wanted to be able to steer the ship. They just wanted to be able to contribute and have a little bit more say in the room. And that appealed to me a lot. So in general, I was kind of gunning for the internship. I don't think there was a world in which I saw I wasn't going to get it because I was so passionate about it. But after just trekking through all the departments, I just thought, I think account management is the lane I want to choose for this one.
That's great. So account management, I mean, do you have dreams of working, you know, in creative, or, I mean, and Andrew, do you let people make those transitions if they want to?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we are very strong believers that Solve in, especially as you're starting out your career. How could anyone know exactly what the path is going to be? You know, I think we're much more about get people exposed, you know, to the industry, and then let's figure it out from there. You know, we're a tight agency. We're about 45 people. So we're very nimble. You know, Abby, as a younger talent coming in, can talk to anyone she wants. She can talk to me, to our CEO, to our chief creative officer, Kathleen. You know, the access is there, and we are all about letting people kind of steer their own ship in the direction that is really, you know, getting them the most excited.
That's great. And let's take a picture of these happy interns.
We
Uh, so, I mean, how many do you bring in, you know, for the internship, and then, you know, how do you help them on their career path?
Yeah, great question, Kyle. So it's just so happened every summer so far we've been doing the program. We've brought in 3 interns, and so we're entering our 5th summer now. We're bringing in interns, and we'll see. We're actually interviewing right now. We had an interview yesterday. We have them throughout the week, and then we'll figure out you know, what candidates we're gonna bring into the agency. But you know, again, it just comes down to exposure, right? At such a young age, you know, you're hungry, you're motivated, you just want to see what this industry is all about and immerse yourself in the creativity of it all. And so we want to find ways for students to do that, however it may be. So it, you know, from setting up department meetings, learning, you know, what every department does throughout the summer, to not just working on day-to-day projects, but also broader scope projects that reflect actual client work that's actually going on in the house, right? We are firm believers of, you have to get a taste of what we're actually doing and be a part of client presentations to really get a full kind of realization for the everyday craziness, but also beauty of advertising. So we try to mix in just a little bit of everything, but probably my favorite part of it all is the group project that we give to the interns to work on and partner on together throughout the summer, and then present to the agency at the end. And the last couple summers, it started with Abby's year. We gave a brief of how can we continue to, you know, extend that pipeline and even start the pipeline even sooner in a student's process to get advertising on the radar. And so she helped lead the team through that assignment. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, Abby?
Yeah. It's
Great.
called Rep Yourself. And given the brief that we had given from Andrew, it was just the stark insight that we got, I think, is what really was a catalyst for me creating this Rep Yourself program or initiative. And it was that only 3% of advertising professionals were of color. And I think that just was so crazy to me. So I was just like, I know the HBCU world, I know the environment, I know how the students like to be talked to and what would really expose them and entice them to really consider a profession in advertising. So I titled this initiative called Rep Yourself. Some people might be like, what exactly is that? It is just a shortened, more lingo-fied version of represent yourself.
Right.
I figured that if the issue was that people didn't feel like people were in the room who were creating the ads, creating the social ads, just the ones who were steering the conversation and culture about what we believe and what we think, because we know that's what advertising has the power to do. If they looked in the rooms and looked at the team and didn't really see anybody who looked like them, then my challenge was, I'm going to create a campaign with my fellow interns to start the conversation and say, hey, if you don't really like how you see things moving, get in the room yourself and contribute your ideas, because they're just as valuable as the next person. So we started just factoring in what that looked like into the HBCU lifestyle, whether or not we would just like do homecoming and make campaigns live and well there, whether or not we would do like a small little workshop similar to the curriculum to just expose other students to it. And I honestly foresaw it, and I still do foresee it going to other HBCUs, it just taking a world tour, and just having people look within themselves to see what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, because I guarantee it has a place in a department located inside of a typical ad agency.
Right. Um, so Abby and Andrew as well, what does it mean as businesses, and unfortunately, some agencies in our industry are scaling back DEI programs, which I still don't understand why. What is that? What is a program like this that is continuing it and really putting it to the forefront? What does it mean to the industry and for Morgan State and the broader HBCU people that are looking to get into advertising? What does it do?
Yeah, 100%, Kyle. I always like to say it's more of a mentality than a process, right? We can't just treat this as, a box check on an annual sheet of things we need to accomplish. At this point, for us at Solve, Project Pipeline has literally become a part of who we are as an agency, right? It is literally infused into the daily life of what we talk about at Solve and what we do. And we ensure every single person in the building has a hand in the program and helping inspire students. And, just to talk about, the goal of Project Pipeline as well, Abby, of course, is a shining example of the most remarkable talent and ended up working for us. The goal of Project Pipeline, though, is to inspire students to advertising, regardless of what agency it may be, right? It happened to work out that Abby is at Solve because she is absolutely incredible. And we could not stay in touch with her over the years after her internship. But, we are just trying to get students into this industry no matter where they end up working. We've had a lot of phenomenal success stories in addition to Abby. So, Abby, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think what it means to us is it's an honor because it puts the magnifying glass actually on us even more, since so many other initiatives and certain things are just being eliminated from certain organizations and companies, but it allows other agencies and tons of other potential clients to look at our core and see whether or not it really resonates with them. And I would hope that you'd ultimately want to connect or resonate with an agency that at their core really does care about those initiatives and cares about getting that other kinds of diverse talent in the room.
Yeah. It's so necessary to keep that diverse pipeline going, because the diversity of thought, it is absolutely how we win. And so I love hearing what you're doing there. And, obviously you let's see, you've had somebody go to MediaWorks, somebody go to Fleischman Hilliard, somebody even started their own agency, Tycoon. That's absolutely incredible. What great successes. So, you've got to be really proud of that.
Yeah.
We can't hear you, Andrew.
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
There we go.
Andrew is on mute.
Now,
there we go.
You can hear me. If you saw me take out the AirPods, go figure they died halfway through. So
yeah,
it goes away. So we can get the audio cleared up. No, it is there. There's nothing more rewarding than attempting to light a spark and then seeing that flame start to kindle and burn bright. And that's why we're doing this. That's exactly why we're doing this, and nothing, gets us more excited than turning on people that didn't have advertising on their radar to start, and then potentially, plowing a new career path right in front of them. And Abby is someone who has taken that path and then some. And we look forward to every semester. We typically have about 10 or 12 students each semester that we get to teach and inspire, and then open up the internship every summer.
That's great. And obviously, Morgan State likes it because Dr. Junwoo Moon, associate professor in the Department of Strategic Communication, said this: Solve is a priceless gift at Morgan State. Since the fall of 2020 semester, all campaign course students have successfully finished their projects, and eventually some have started their new career journey in the advertising industry. That says volumes right there, that the faculty is latching onto it and likes what you do.
We absolutely, it is a two-way partnership through and through. We could not do this without the investment of everyone at Morgan State, from Dr. Moon to Dr. Smith to everyone else we interact with faculty-wise. We thank the team originally 5 years ago for raising their hands and taking us up on our simple offer. This would not be happening if it wasn't for them saying, taking a leap of faith and saying, we're going to let these guys from Minneapolis at Solve come in here and teach some classes.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
What else do you want people to know about this project pipeline, and how do you want people to get involved with it?
Abby, do you want to share anything from your perspective, and I can tie it up then, certainly?
Yeah, what I want people to know is the question, what I want people to know about Project Pipeline and how they can get involved. I want people to know that it is a model. It's a blueprint. We may have been one of the first people to pioneer, just start the movement, but it can be emulated and it can definitely continue on. It can be this big partnership. I know that sometimes when you do more stark initiatives like this, it can often feel like a kind of competition and what are you trying to prove? But when it's at your core, this is truly just something that we just want to start something good. It's good at its heart, and we do want to see it continue to be repetitious, I guess, in the industry. And I do want people to know how much of a blessing it's been. Honestly, I think a lot of, I did do the research and doing my own summer project in my own cohort, learning how convoluted terms and things just got, and how people just weren't in the room because of their just lack of knowledge, and how it would take an agency taking a responsibility that isn't necessarily theirs to take, but going the extra mile, and with a plethora of information already, with the years of experience that many people at Solve do have, it's just like, it doesn't take but a moment of your time. And the reward to me, from what I can see from Andrew and just all of the people I work with and the leadership that I'm around, it gives them so much more joy to give the information to me, even as an entry-level person, and especially to the interns, than it does to, necessarily make all of the most award-winning work. I think that this is just as rewarding as winning the Effies and winning the shorties. It's just as exciting.
Sure.
Yeah, just to add to what Abby said, Kyle, what continues to be on our minds is, look, I think we have no doubt that agencies across the country recognize, this continued lack of diversity that we need to continue to chip away at and work tirelessly to make change toward. And I know many other agencies have their own initiatives, which is phenomenal. Keep doing those. Have to keep doing those. This is one way that Solve is trying to make a difference. But I also know there are plenty of agencies out there that possibly are struggling, right? They're kind of ending at the search for talent, saying, well, you can't find any diverse talent. So, we're trying, but, we don't know what to do. This is kind of an offer to anyone out there like that. I keep thinking about, imagine if, as Abby kind of alluded to, imagine if just 8 other agencies were trying to do what we were doing, reaching out to additional HBCUs across the country. Like I said earlier, there's 107 HBCUs, and trying to make that contact, offer up our talents, our expertise, to try to inspire students, really across the country. All it takes is one little spark, and you never know where that can go. And so as we think about how do we make Project Pipeline expand, it is very much about getting other agencies to, jump in with us, because as much as me and Abby and everyone else would love to teach, 20 different classes across, 20 different universities, we are one small agency in this world of indie shops. And, we need a little bit more firepower to help cover all the different schools out there, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. All right, let's put it a challenge out to our other indie agency news members. Like you have the opportunity to be able to do this. I know you may have your own programs, but this is important, and it's really important that we get diverse talent in there. So I can't thank you guys enough for telling me about this. This has been amazing. So
and yeah, to add, last thing, if you want to reach out, I'm available. Would love to hop on a call. I can share, me and Abby can share what our curriculum is all about, what kind of topics, and also, if just to imagine for a second and get excited, if we do bring other agencies along with us, it's yours to put your own thumbprint on as well, right? To update the curriculum with whatever wisdom you may have and want to share. There's no set, way we have to do this. The important thing is we are doing it. So reach out to me. Is it my info below in the bio? Can I say that link in bio? You'll add it to the interview.
We will absolutely add it to the interview so they can find you whether you want that or not. So no, this has been great. Thank you both so much for talking to me. Abby Matthews, Andrew Pautz from Solve. Thank you so much for taking the time to tell us about Project Pipeline. We hope that more people get involved and make this an ongoing thing in our industry. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Kyle, for letting us share our story. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
And thank you, everybody. This has been Kyle O'Brien for Indie Agency News. This has been another episode of Indie Thinking. Thank you.